You can minimize how much the wind affects your disc. Here's what I mean. Disc selection and release angle make all the difference when throwing in the wind. Hey everybody, what is up? It's Antonio. Welcome to another episode here on Gladiator Disc Golf. Welcome to day 6 of the 30 videos in 30-day challenge. I'm so excited to be talking about throwing in windy conditions. So let's go ahead and let's get right into it. There are 3 winds that every disc golfer will encounter, so we're going to break down what each of the wind types means, how it affects the disc, and how you can overcome that particular wind. The first one is the headwind. I believe that the headwind is the most frustrating and challenging wind for disc golfers. It's when the wind is blowing directly into your face or in the direction that you are throwing. First, we have to understand that a headwind is going to make a disc fly more understable. So how do you counteract a headwind? This is a fairly neutral driver. So if you had the Stag or something like it as your go-to driver, when facing a headwind, you want to throw something faster and more overstable. Did you like that tip about the headwind? Well, there's plenty more coming in the video where we'll talk about tailwind and crosswind. But before we continue, go ahead and hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe so that you get the other videos in the 30-day challenge. All right, let's finish this video up. The second wind is a tailwind, and this is by far the most friendliest wind for disc golfers. And that's because a tailwind is blowing from behind you. And so it's going to help carry the disc further down the fairway. So a disc in a tailwind is going to stable up and have more fade. So how do you counteract a tailwind or use it to your advantage? You throw something that is neutral or understable. In this instance, the Stag is a perfect example of a disc that you would want to throw in a tailwind. This is a disc that with a tailwind, you would be able to even put a little bit of turn on it if you give it enough height, let the disc start to turn, and then because of the tailwind, it's going to stable out and finish nice and flat. The third and final wind is the crosswind. Crosswinds can be a little tricky because eventually the disc is going to reveal its flight plate, whether it's on the fade or on a turn. And that's the thing about a crosswind, is that it exaggerates the turn and the fade. For example, if I'm throwing the Stag and I have, for me, what would be a right to left wind, and I throw the Stag on hyzer, I'm going to expect the wind to be pushing under that flight plate and keeping it on a hyzer angle and then pushing it to the left. Likewise, if I threw an anhyzer with that right to left crosswind, I should not expect the disc to really come and finish out flat. I should expect the disc to get pushed down and hit the ground on that anhyzer angle. Now, if I'm dealing with a left to right crosswind with the Stag thrown on hyzer, I shouldn't really expect this disc to get very far left because that wind is going to be pushing it down. Similarly, if I threw an anhyzer with a left to right crosswind, I'm going to get a lot more movement. It's going to turn a lot more. It will probably even turn over and become a roller. So how do we handle or counteract a crosswind and use it to our advantage? You throw as flat as possible. A disc is not going to get nearly as affected with a left or right wind when thrown flat and moving forward. Something to consider when playing it with wind is that how the disc is facing you on the tee is not exactly how the wind is going to affect the disc when it's out on the fairway. The other thing is think about the wind relative to the moment in time the disc is in its flight path. For example, if you threw a flippy disc into right to left headwind, it's kind of a mix coming diagonally, it's going to start to turn. Flying straight, it's a right to left crosswind. But as the disc starts to turn, it's now turning into the headwind, which means the disc is going to keep turning. But I want to know from you, what is your preferred wind to play in? And I'll see you tomorrow where we'll discuss spin putting and why it's superior to push putting.